guys, welcome back to my channel. Mermaid Nina here. Well, I'm back with another video inspired by you guys, right? Keep, posting comments on my videos because you just never know when I'm going to answer your question in a video. But tonight's video is kind of about peak season. I get a lot of you asking me, Nina, what should I plan for? What should I prepare for if I'm going on Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's Eve or spring break or any of those high peak days at Disney World? I'm talking about the days that are sold out. I know you guys know that means the crowds will be high, lines will be long, but what else is there really to prepare for? So I have my top 15 list of things that we do, right? So in case you guys don't realize it, we go every year pretty much always at peak season. Because my kids are in school and they're older, I don't have the luxury of taking them out of school, which I highly suggest you do if you have little kids and you can do that. But for those of us who just, for whatever reason, have to go during peak season, high crowd times, these are the things that we do that kind of help save our day and save our vacation. And if you don't know if you're booking during a peak day or a sold out day, kind of the nice thing about the Park Pass reservation system, I know, love it or hate it, whatever. The nice thing about it right now, if it continues and it stays on, is you can actually look on the app, you can look at the calendar and you can actually see if the park you're going to on the day you're going to it is blocked out. If it's in the gray, that means it's blocked out, which means it's sold out, which means whether you're going Christmas or some random day in August, actually August would never have a blackout day, some random day in July, if it's sold out, then you are dealing with high peak season. Does this make sense? I'm hoping it kind of does, but let's get into it. My top 15, you ready? First tip, I'm just gonna say it first, right? You just have to expect it, right? You know you're going during peak season. If you check the app and it's grayed out, you know. It means big crowds, super duper big crowds. Kind of do everyone a favor and don't be shocked by it. Don't complain, just plan ahead, plan accordingly. Go into it knowing it's gonna be bumper to bumper, people to people traffic. And if it's not as bad as you think, then yay, icing on the cake, right? But you want to plan and prepare for it. I have videos on this specifically on long lines, but this is when you plan ahead and you put games on your phone. So when you're stuck behind a bunch of people, at least you're entertaining yourself. Bring those backup batteries so your phones don't die or your game systems don't die. Does this kind of make sense? Number 2, use Genie Plus. This is what Genie Plus is designed for. Unfortunately, that means you're paying more money. Do individual lightning lanes. Now, of course, this video is in 2022. We have no idea what Iger is going to do with Genie Plus for 2023, but I assume some form of skip the line system will be in play, whether it's called Genie Plus or Fast Passes, back again, or whatever they're going to call the system. You definitely are going to want to use it. Any form of skip the line system, sadly, use it, pay for it, learn it, know it, do it, right? Okay, number 3, you want to arrive early. The lines are shortest first thing in the morning. All the people with little kiddos and they think they can just sleep in because they didn't watch one of my videos, you want to be ahead of those people, right? You want to go early, do rope drops, stay on property, get early morning hours, do whatever you can do. You would be surprised how much stuff you can get done first thing in the morning, especially if you prioritize those long line rides. Do that first, get it out of the way, and then move on. But this also means if you're gonna arrive early, you also wanna stay late. That's right. Once parents start putting those kiddos to bed around 5 or 6 dinner time, some of them do stay up for the fireworks, that is the best time as well to maximize your day. So I know it sounds goofy, but you wanna be early and you wanna stay late. But this doesn't mean you can't take a break in the middle, right? So absolutely, if you're tired, if you've got kiddos, if you're on the older side, whatever, you can absolutely take a break midday, whether that means go back to your resort or just, you know, fall asleep on a ride or sit down and just have kind of a long lunch. You know, you definitely want to take that break midday. I'm going to go around 1 to 3 o'clock is like the peak time of day at Disney World. That's kind of when everyone is there. The people who arrived early are still there. The people who are arriving later in the day are still there. So between that 1, 3 o'clock zone is always a good time to take a break, have a long lunch, do whatever you need to do. But yes, arrive early, stay late. That is going to be key. Number 4, you want to go ahead and make those dining reservations in advance. Again, kind of like the one ahead of this. If you plan for a midday lunch, this is a great way to take a load off your feet, get some air conditioning, sip on some water, whatever you need to do, and just kind of relax. But to make it less stressful on you, you want to get those reservations in advance, because if you really are in a sold out day, right? Not going to be very many reservations for you to score for dining. So yes, you want to get that in advance. I personally like it. As much as I love the people, I kind of hate the people, you know, all the crowds, right? I am definitely one of those people who hates the crowds. The nice thing about midday dining is you get a break from all the people, right? It's just, it can be a lot. It can be stressful when there's just so many people and you feel like you can't breathe because they're just everywhere and you keep running into them and you don't mean to, but it is what it is. And yeah, midday breaks at dining, very much a lifesaver there on those peak days. Number 5, back to dining again. You want to 100% mobile order as much as you can. Every single quick service location or even something like Dole Whips, you can mobile order. You can actually be in the tiki room. Actually, you can't because the phones don't work in the tiki room. You could be on Aladdin's flying carpets, right? And you could actually be like, hey, you guys, Dole Whips, Dole Whips, yeah? You could be ordering those Dole Whips while you're on the Aladdin ride, and then it'll be time to pick up when you get off. This way, you aren't staying in line. I think you could probably do this on Jungle Cruise as well. Just picking rides out of the blue here, guys. Point is mobile order as much as you can. Again, those of you with food allergies, this tip isn't for you. You can't really mobile order, but everyone else, mobile order. Mobile order first thing in the morning. If you already know where you're going for lunch and you already know you're going to be hungry around 1 o'clock, mobile order early. Don't, you know, wait until the end when there's no more mobile order options. That's right, mobile order options can sell out. And avoid waiting in long lines, especially if you like to eat at peak eating times. Lines will be long, mobile ordering option will be gone. Get it out of the way, mobile order early in the day and just prepare for it. Just know that you already did it, right? So definitely mobile order as much as you can. Number 6, you're gonna wanna watch the tip board, 100%. It's on your app. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to watch my Disney Experience app tutorial video because I fully explain all this stuff in that video. But you're gonna wanna watch tip board ahead of time, before your trip. You're gonna wanna get an idea of what rides get long lines quick. You're gonna wanna know what rides the Genie Plus kind of sells out quick. This way you can kind of have a game plan and an itinerary for yourself of which rides you're gonna do first thing in the morning, right? As soon as the park opens, run to those rides, walk carefully, whatever. Get to those rides, ride them as best you can, and whatever ones you missed out on, save for the end of the day if you can't, or Genie Plus those rides. Does this make sense? You do want to prepare and plan ahead, and the best way to do that is to be looking on Tipboard and get an idea. Like Peter Pan, I talk about Peter Pan all the time. It's a simple kiddie ride that everyone on the planet seems to want to ride, because really within 10 minutes of park opening, that ride can get from 45 minutes to 65 minutes long. OMG, and it's like a 45-second ride. And it will stay that long pretty much all day. So if you have someone in your party and you need to ride Peter Pan's flight, you're gonna wanna do that at rope drop, or you're gonna wanna Genie Plus it, or you're gonna wanna save it for the end of the day. Hopefully this makes sense, but definitely plan ahead, watch tip board. All right, number 7. So this is my little tip here. If you're involved in some sort of super crowded event, for example, fireworks, right? They don't really have an evening parade, but if they did, this would come into play as well. But some sort of situation where it's the end of the day and all the crowds gather, right? And we all watch the fireworks, boom, boom, pop, yay, 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 love it. Guess what happens as soon as the fireworks are over? Everyone turns around and rushes back to the exit. That's right. They're all trying to get on the monorail or the boat or the bus or the whatever. You could step aside and do something else. You want to avoid the crowds? Don't head back to the bus with everyone else. Whatever everyone else is doing, go the opposite direction. This is a great time for you to just kind of step aside and go on a different ride. Go on a ride that's nearby. Get out of the area, because I'm telling you, as soon as fireworks are over, everyone literally turns around and exits. Try not to be that person and just get to the side away from everyone else and go the other direction. This is a big tip for those of you who still want to be in the park after fireworks, because again, once all those people leave post fireworks, that's going to be a great time for you to, ride those peak rides, right? Those popular rides. The next tip I have is for those of you like me who love to do some Disney shopping, right? You're going to want to shop early. Crowds usually shop after fireworks. It's kind of a big thing. They're like, because the shops are kind of towards the back as you exit. So for the people who want to avoid the buses, like my tip ahead, they think, we'll just pop into this shop. No. The shop, especially the Emporium on Magic Kingdom, is flooded with people post fireworks at the end of the day. So if there's something you really, really want, get it early. Get it when someone else is in the line for something. Get it while you're waiting for a Genie Plus. Get it when you're, waiting for your mobile order. Don't wait till the end of the night to go shopping, because you are going to get hit with some long lines. Just a little tip, especially like I said, the Emporium at Magic Kingdom. Actually, it happens at Hollywood Studios too, because there's a whole slew of shops kind of together on both sides of the street. Yeah, it's just a thing. Everyone does it. At the end of the night, no one wants to go home, but they can't go on the rides. They all go shopping. So just know that in advance. All right, number 9. I kind of touched on this a little bit, but basically crowds equal long lines, right? So we can already expect long lines mean the ride lines are gonna be long, but that's not just it. Unfortunately, all those people also mean any form of dining, even to order popcorn or get a Mickey pretzel or the bathroom, unfortunately, lines can get long. I have seen bathroom lines kind of wrapped around the corner, and that is really frustrating if you've got a kiddo who needs to go now. So going into high peak season, going into a sold out day, know this in advance. Anytime we pass a bathroom, and if I notice there's not a long wait, I make people go. I don't care if you don't have to go. Try, go try, go try. You don't want to get into that situation where you're going to wet your pants. You also don't want to get into the situation where you get so hangry, you're going to scream. So try to eat in advance. Again, that's when mobile ordering comes into play, but I can't tell you how frustrated my daughter has been. This happens at Storybook Circus right outside of Dumbo. There's a cart that sells Mickey pretzels, and it seems like every single time we go on our Magic Kingdom day, and my daughter, we work our way around the map like I've shown you to do in my itinerary videos. By the time we've had lunch and we finally get to the Dumbo area post lunch, it's like snack time for her, that they're always out of pretzels, always. She always waits in this super duper long line. She is so excited to get this pretzel, and they'll be sold out. So Get it when you can. Get Ziploc baggies, put the pretzels in a baggie, eat it later, whatever you need to do. Just don't be shocked if things are sold out and lines are super duper long, even for the simplest thing like Mickey pretzels. All right, next tip. Now I talk about this a lot in all my other videos, but this is a specific tip for peak season, guys. You wanna pack snacks, water, and even a simple meal, like a simple lunch, like a PB&J with a side of chips, anything like this. Why? Because it's gonna save you time in line for any sort of dining. It also can allow you to eat or nibble on something, therefore you can eat your actual meal at non-popular times, right? So if you are someone, I am one of these people who gets starving at like 11:30. That's what time you eat at home. So at Disney, of course, that's what time your stomach is gonna start grumbling. Well, 11:30 to 12 o'clock can be peak eating time at Disney World. It's happening to everyone else. Everyone else is getting the hungries, right? If you've packed yourself a little sandwich or a snack, you can eat it and possibly eat later, possibly eat more in the 2 o'clock to 2:30 zone after peak lunch hours. The same thing will happen at dinner. Starting 4:30, 5 o'clock, everyone wants dinner. Guess what happens to those lines? They get super duper long. If you've packed yourself a nice hearty snack, you can eat later, maybe in the 7 to 8 o'clock zone. So don't be afraid to pack yourself a few little healthy snacks and maybe even a little lunch. I mean, crackers and whatever can tide you over for a couple of hours so that you can eat at non-peak eating time. Hopefully this makes sense. All right, next tip. Long lines equals lots of walking and standing, unfortunately. So knowing you're going during high crowds, which means long lines, prepare and pack really good shoes. I am telling you right now, if something happens to your foot, it's gonna ruin your day. It absolutely will. It could just be a blister or a callus or something was pinching something or you got sore. Whatever it is, it will absolutely ruin the rest of your day if anything on your legs or feet just happen to get sore. So plan ahead, pack nice socks, nice, sturdy, good, comfortable shoes, whatever works for you. Think compression socks. Make sure you pack those extra Band-Aids, blister aids, whatever you need to do to keep your feet nice and healthy and happy. Because unfortunately, yeah, high crowds, a lot of standing, a lot of walking, a lot of just on your feet is really what it is. So, and you can also kind of mix and match, you know, long lines with sitting for a good portion of time. Like if I just stood in a really, really long line, the next thing I might do is like a show. Like I might want to go to Frozen Ever After or Frozen Sing Along, and so I can sit for 35 minutes, something like that. So you can kind of mix and match, but you definitely want to think of your feet. All right, tip number 12 is to have a game plan. I touched on this before, but if you already know what you want to do, what is important to you, for you and your family to do, organize it out. Come up with a list. Do a top 5 list of things you need to do, rides you need to do, attractions, whatever it is, and then add to that list and do a top 10. Then when you get to the park, that is your goal. You want to start with your top 5. If you've actually managed to do your top 5 in a high peak, serious, crazy day, then start finishing up on your top 10. You don't want to go into it like, oh, I don't know what do you want to do? I don't know what to do. You're wasting precious time. You want to have a plan, know where it is, look at the park map and go. Do the things that you want to do and have it organized. So, for example, we always go on Christmas morning. It's going to be the same for us this year, but last year we had breakfast reservations at Ohana. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. So I knew first thing in the morning, we weren't going to make it to rope drop. We weren't going to be the first people in the park as I suggest. So starting at 7 o'clock, I was stacking those rides because I knew I wasn't going to be able to, ride them first thing in the morning. So 7 a.m., I'm refreshing. I had my top 5 list, right? So I start getting, passes for rides and stacking them to ride later in the afternoon once we were done with breakfast. By the time we finished up with Ohana, got on the monorail, got in the park, whatever, we already had 2 or 3 rides ready for us to go that were already stacked per Genie Plus. So then we mixed and matched, waiting in line with the other things we really wanted to do and with the things that we Genie Plussed. We, however, made a mistake, which is also one of my tips. We booked Ohana for breakfast, which sounds great. It is, doing again this year. Then we booked a special dinner at Crystal Palace. Don't do that, guys. It's too much eating. It is too much waiting around to eat. It is too much time spent eating, after eating, post, whatever. Because you can't go on a ride if you're like, well, we've got reservations in 20 minutes. We can't really do anything, so we're just going to hang out. It was a lot of waiting around and then waiting to eat, waiting for our food. It was just a lot of waiting. So I don't suggest that. So don't waste a bunch of time eating. I get that some people are foodies and they want to eat as much they can. They love the restaurants, but that's up to you. If that's part of your top 5 is eating, then forget this tip. But for most of you, don't waste your time waiting to eat and eating. Eating is not something you can do in like 5 seconds. Unfortunately, it takes time. We had to wait forever for our table because of course they were backed up. Then we had to wait forever for our server and our food, and it's just time kept going by and I just kept thinking I could be on a ride right now. So don't do that. Don't book too many meals in one day during peak season. And the course that goes with it is know that you can't do it all. You're going during one of the busiest times of the year. You're going on a sold out park day. Don't assume you can do all the things. This is why you want to make your top 5 and then top 10 list. If you can actually do your top 10, yay, call it a success. Hopefully you guys are with me on this, okay? Tip number 13. Now this is for people who hate crowds. So you have a fear of crowds. Crowds make you nervous. Maybe you have someone with special needs. You have a little kiddo, whatever. Yet the only time of year that you can go is unfortunately peak season on sold out days. I have a few tips for you guys to kind of ease some of that nervousness. First thing you want to do is you want to avoid anything that draws a crowd. Crowds like to flock towards characters, parades, shows that are like outside shows, like in front of the castle, those kind of shows, and fireworks. If crowds really do make you that nervous and frustrated, avoid those things. Watch those things from the back. Don't necessarily have to be up front and center because you will be mixed in with a huge crowd of people. I usually suggest people watch fireworks from the back of Main Street near the entrance and the exit. If you are sensitive to crowds, this is going to be a perk for you because even though right now during peak season that area could be crowded, it at least allows you to get out fast. Remember how I said earlier during fireworks, what's the first thing people do when fireworks are over? They all turn around and head to the exit. But if you're watching at the exit, if you're already back there near the Walt Disney World Railroad station, if you're already there, you're gonna be the first person to exit, which means you're gonna be the first person on your bus, the first person on your monorail. So even though the view might not be the best for the fireworks, it at least is gonna help you in that crowded situation if you are indeed not good with crowds. I also suggest you upgrade to a hopper pass. Why? Because if you get yourself into a situation where the park is just too much for you, you knew it was crowded, you were planning for it, but then you got there and you just couldn't handle it. It's just too much for you, go hop somewhere else. Go hop to a park that is usually less crowded. Animal Kingdom is usually less crowded, and Epcot, ironically, because it's so large, can feel less crowded even though it is technically crowded. So yes, upgrade to the hopper pass because you just never know what you're gonna feel until you're in it, right? Until you're experiencing it. Hopefully this helps you guys. It is what it is. It's crowded and we just all have to do the best we can do, right? Which brings me to number 14. Now, when it's super duper crowded like this, there's two things that kind of make life difficult. And unfortunately, it's not good if these are things you need. But if you do not need a scooter, if you can live without a scooter or a double stroller, I highly suggest it. It can be really hard to maneuver a scooter or a double stroller through the crowds. As everyone else is walking and we can quickly maneuver and weave and whip and go by, scooters are there like hoping someone doesn't cut in front of them and dash in front of them, and they're trying to get through. The same thing with double strollers. If you've got a bunch of people in front of you and to the side of you, you can't really maneuver. You really have nowhere to go. So if you don't need that double stroller, try not to bring it. During peak crazy season, bring 2 umbrella strollers. If you're someone who doesn't really need that scooter, perhaps park it to the side and get it later. Do whatever you can do, because unfortunately, this just makes crowds even more difficult. All right, and my final tip number 15, is I kind of say this a lot, but plan on making your trip longer. Why? Longer doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna have to deal with crowds for more days and my body can't possibly deal with that. Longer means you have more days and more time to do the things you wanna do. It means that you can take a break in the day, because if the crowds are too much and you just can't handle it, take a break. Go back to your hotel room, go in the pool, relax, go chill, because you have another day to do it later. You know, divide the parks in half, do half one day and half another day. Because if it's just too much, it can be a lot of pressure to do all the goals and everything in one day. So for us anyway, when we go during peak season, like we're headed there for Christmas this year, we're going for 2 weeks. And I get that not a lot of people can do that. I get it. But the longer you can stay, the better it can be for you. That way I know that if on Christmas, someone in my family freaks out and they're like, you know what, Mom, I can't deal with this anymore. That's okay. We can go back to the hotel because we have plenty of other park days ahead of us. The same thing with New Year's Eve. We will be there Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, the whole kit and caboodle. We will be there. So yes, I know what it's like going at peak season. I know what it's like going on a sold out day. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. But there are little special areas within certain parks where there's not a lot of people, right? And I can think of one specifically. It's at Magic Kingdom, and it's kind of in between Space Mountain and the Carousel of Progress. There's a set of bathrooms in that area. No one's ever back there. Like literally no one's ever back there. You can almost stare at the people mover from this area, and there's benches about. So even though it's next to a bathroom, it's a great place to sit and chill. Like if my family wants to go do Buzz Lightyear and they want to go wait in a long line and I'm over here like, no, Mama needs a break, I know I can go and sit on those benches, perhaps go grab a Geoffrey's and just chill. There's places like that throughout all 4 parks where there's just not a lot of collection of people because there's not a lot going on in that area. Once you find one of those spots, just chill and enjoy it as best you can. But I hope this video helped you guys out. I know a lot of you have been asking, and I hope this is what you were looking for. Again, you can watch my Christmas Day video at Magic Kingdom. I even have a Christmas Eve video at Epcot, and you can see how much we can actually get done during these peak holiday seasons, also using Genie Plus. We go every year at spring break, really, really close to Easter. Those vlogs are up as well, and you can see how much we got done in those days. But unfortunately, I go every year, peak season, you just deal. You just deal and you move on and you hope for the best. So like I said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this is the video you were looking for when you asked me all these questions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If the subscribe button is red, please click it, turn it gray, hit the bell icon for notifications. Like this video, letting me know that this was a good one, and comment. So, like the video, was it helpful? Let me know. If you needed more information, if you want me to try to remember where all those calm spots are at all 4 parks, I can do a video just on that. But for those of you who have been looking for videos, put it in the comments. My videos are often inspired by you guys. I have a hard time remembering what it was like to be a Disney World beginner. And so for me, a lot of this stuff is just common sense. I'm so used to it. I never really think to make a video about it because to me, I live and breathe it. But for you, for someone who hasn't gone in a long time, or it's your first trip and you have a question and you're worried about something, put it in the comments. I just might turn it into a video. And I just love all your suggestions, guys. So thank you for all of those comments and suggestions. I really do appreciate it, honestly, 100%. But as always, guys, mahalo for watching. Nina out. Bye, guys.